Also, and you notice they were giving some product away. That's something else that we're going to talk about is sweepstakes and promotions. If you sell things, how you can use social media to, and you have to be very careful about it because it's regulated. Each state has laws about sweepstakes and promotions. And I just had to deal with this with the motherhood.com because they work with bloggers, mom bloggers all over the country, and they do these campaigns for products like Kleenex, and the latest one was Listerine. And they have these teams of mom bloggers, and then Listerine, or I can't remember which brand it was, but they had some, the moms had to do some creative project, and whoever was the most creative or whatever won $250. And so it was this big issue because we didn't have the right guidelines. We didn't promulgate what were the official rules and regulations for these, it was like 16 bloggers. But these bloggers, each of the 16 women, have enormous blogging networks. Like each woman probably has like 1,000 followers on her blog that read, all over the country. So, all right, so warnings for the professional. You could tarnish your reputation. Carrie and I were talking about this, obviously with young college students, and Katie's young, she's 23. And I was asking her, well, are young people really just putting everything out there on Facebook? I mean, are they? And just kind of tweeting everything, and the young people in the room, I mean, you want to talk about that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm 38, so I don't know. We didn't even have cell phones when I was in high school, so, I mean, have any comments on that? I mean, one of the things she said, and we were talking, when I was trying to hire a nanny, and I Googled her, and I was like, oh my God, I am not having this girl in my house. I'm like envisioning like Hugh Grant scenarios. She had this Facebook picture. It was not good. I was like, I'm not hiring her. And I think most employers do Google. I mean, I was interviewing with a big law firm in West Virginia, and they were Facebooking me. They were Googling me. They're like, I see you're friends with Danielle Zanite or whatever. And I was like, and I don't have a public profile, but I guess they give like 5 friends that you're friends with or something. But one of the things Katie said, I mean, this generation of the young people, this is how they're living. They're tweeting their life, and as businesses, it's just dumb to ignore the fact that how things have changed. But so you really don't. You have every tweet. I'm always nervous. I'm always nervous about any tweet I ever send out, and I try to keep them really pretty clean or whatever. Every Facebook post, because it is viral. It can be very viral. It's permanent, and it's non-private. It says may get you fired, which is true. I mean, this is what we're going to talk later about social media policies, and you should probably have some type of warning in there, for your employees to say, well, these are the things you cannot do at all, but this is going to be our protocol. You'll get one warning, and then this is our next step. Excuse me. You hear all the time about people doing really dumb, maybe they were drunk or something, and they're on Facebook. It's kind of funny, some of them, but the things that they say, like one of the about the social media disasters, one of them was Detroit, Chrysler, and one of their employees. Did anyone read about that? One of their employees, they were doing something in Detroit, and it was Chrysler, and he hashtagged Chrysler, so he was identifying that he was an employee of Chrysler, and he was saying that no one in Detroit can drive, but he used some profanities in there. And he got fired, and it was this, I remember hearing about that. It says, may alienate clients, potential clients, vendors, referral sources by promoting a particular client, event, brand, business, cause, or politic. So, I mean, freedom of speech, right? I mean, First Amendment, if you're very much Republican and you want to send a bunch of tweets out there about the Republican Party and who you're supporting and stuff, know, though, that one of your major clients might not be Republican. And, maybe you're sending out some tweets. I have a client, they're a bake shop in Pittsburgh Dozen Bake Shop. So I'm always like sending out stuff that they are putting out there. I'm sharing it. But what if like their competitor wants to hire me? You have to be very careful about what you're putting out there. You might be alienating people. That's the point. May create an uninsured event. So if you're a business and you feel as though that your employees are going to be having a blog, you're going to be doing tweeting, you may want to encourage it. You definitely, it depends on your business. But you have to look at your insurance policy and maybe go over the terms of it to see if it's an event that's covered under your insurance. You may become a victim of harassment, discrimination, stalking, or bullying. I mean, that's like obvious. There's a lot of weirdos out there. Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick favorite tweet disaster. The comedian gets a fortune for being an Affleck duck. That's all he does. He tweeted about the earthquake in Tokyo and lost that job. Doing nothing. He probably made $1 million a year doing nothing.
What was the tweet?
It was something nasty.
Right.
It was very, very offensive about the earthquake.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
Carrie, were you going to?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment too, because you had mentioned, it made me remember, there was another incident where, and I don't remember the company, but there were 3 employees who were, that were tweeting, they had gone to lunch, gotten drunk, came back to work, and were tweeting, oh, it's so funny, here we are at work, and we're all drunk, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
and all 3 of them got fired.
I read that, yeah.
And I think that it's as important when you're posting as what you're saying, because if you're sitting at work and you're on Facebook and it shows up, you know, in the middle of the afternoon, I'm in the middle of my Facebook, blah, 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 well, your employer is going to know you weren't working, you were on Facebook.
Yeah. If we've got a call off in one of our businesses, our director goes to Facebook.
Yeah.
She does.
To see what they're doing.
Yep.
Laying on the beach.
To clarify, you may create uninsured events. Are you talking if you position yourself as an expert and make an error or an omission? Is that what that's talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, that's one example.
Will be some others.
We're going to talk about all the legal issues where a business, you can be, or you individually, defamation, copyright infringement, one of your employees says something and there's responding out superior, so you're responsible for what your employees say. And then all of a sudden you got a lawsuit here, and maybe because of the nature of the social media that it's not covered under your insurance. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Anyone else? Okay. Additional warnings. May reveal too much information to adversary. I have to be careful with that. As a professional, I'll be like researching the rules about, you know, I want to inform people, but at the same time, I don't want my adversary to know that I'm doing a lot of legal research on this issue because I'm concerned about our position. You know, you have to be careful. Ethics violations issued by professional associations and licensor actions. So back to what you were saying, sir, about the SEC and heavily regulated environments, the healthcare profession with HIPAA and privacy issues, whatever your social media policy has, you have to address that. So a lot of times your professional association should have some statement out there about what you can and can't do, and take some research. But yeah, used in litigation against you, I talked about it, used in background check for hiring, used if you're a potential juror. There's a lot of dumb cases of jurors being, you know, talking about the case. I mean, come on. And then community trying to friend the judge or something stupid. But then criminal penalties and monetary penalties. And then those go with the legal issues I'm going to talk about. I mean, you can be charged criminally if you're stalking someone. They think that it's just a friendly Facebook post, but if you do it over and over, you know, you can be in jail. The downsides for the business. Time-consuming and expensive. A lot of people think it is really time-consuming, and they're thinking, well, now how much do I have to pay someone else to do this for me every month? But I just encourage you to just try to do it yourself. I mean, you know, just if you're reading CNN.com and you're reading, you know, everybody's surfing the internet reading stuff, you know, probably related to what they're doing. Just do a share, create a Twitter account, and just, you know, start doing that. And but there are people though that specialize in this that you can hire, and that's wise to do too, because they're already familiar with all of these things that I'm talking about. They should know about what's acceptable, what's not, what's going to get you in trouble. So it might be wise to carve out that in your budget, in your marketing budget, and, you know, push it off to somebody else. Need accurate, consistent legal or business information, and whatever you're putting out there, you know, use some diligence to make sure that it's pretty accurate. May reveal too much information to competitors. Sound bites are too short for disclaimers. I mean, with Twitter, it's 140 character. So say you're doing some sweepstakes, and according to the state law, you're supposed to say void where prohibited or something like that. Sometimes that's an issue because you can't disclose. So one of the things we're going to talk about is say you have an employee blogging, or you have a campaign where you want bloggers or people on Facebook to like your Facebook page. So you say, well, I'm going to give you a gift card if you do X, you know, or you have to be very careful about giving things away that are free, or that person, if it's an employee and they go on their Twitter handle and they're talking about your product and praising your product because they feel like they should, but they have to disclose that relationship. If you're a paid blogger, you have to disclose that you're being paid to talk about the product. There's FTC guidelines, which are on my blog. Actually, I uploaded those, but that's another issue. Faked or coerced friending. There's a lot of shenanigans on there. I mean, like fake Facebook pages. If you Google, I think it's Coca-Cola, and you're trying to find the company Facebook page, there's all these like jokers out there. I don't know why they would like waste their time creating a fake Coca-Cola Facebook page. I don't know why. To confuse people, to put content out there that's not aligned with Coke. Starbucks has like 4. You don't know who's the right one. Katie Holmes. I wanted to follow her on Twitter, and I was like, I wanted to find Katie Holmes. There's like 4 different Katie Holmes, people who are impersonating her, or trying to act like they're her, which is also illegally, obviously a big no-no. It's a cause of action. It's called impersonation. So you have to be, watch out for that. References for departed employees. So say, for example, you're a boss and your employees friends you on LinkedIn, you're connected on LinkedIn, and they want you to give them a recommendation on LinkedIn. And say you give them the recommendation, you have to be very cautious about that. Some businesses have a blanket no LinkedIn, social media, anything for your employees. Because say then they do something stupid and you have to fire them. And then, they could use that, say in unemployment compensation hearings or whatever, to counter the fact that, you wrote them, this reference. So that comes up. Distorts reality. You hear that a lot with Facebook, because a lot of people just post the positive light of their life. I mean, you'll see that, your Facebook friends had a baby, getting married, blah, blah, blah. And it distorts reality. I forget, they called it the Facebook effect. Because you think everyone's life is rosy, and you're like, really? And I think the same goes for business, too. It can distort the reality. Right, exactly. So, postings later used in litigation. I already mentioned it. Oh my God, it's 6. I better speed it up. I said need an express policy, cannot monitor everything employees do. You risk company criticism or controversial statements. A director of vicarious liability will go through that. Inadvertent disclosure of confidential and or financial information. This is a big one for businesses. You don't want employees inadvertently disclosing trade secrets or, some businesses have a data leakage policy, crisis, if you're a big company, you'll have all of these different policies to handle these different situations. This is a big one. You want to make sure, and as you're advising your employees, to make sure that they don't leak out any financial information you don't want out there, particularly if you're SEC regulated. Deceptive trade practices, social media loafing. My firm limited social media sites to 2 hours, so obviously that can be an issue because people screw around on there.